Hi everybody, old guy here. Well, I was rummaging through the library and I came across this. A Guy Gave You Okay that I have not read, and this, and Leckie's latest. So consider this your doublemint gum video because we're going to get two books in one. All right, let's start with the guy Gabriel K. Isabel, right here. This is a YA novel trying not to be. No, not with torrid sex scenes and adult choices, which are pretty standard for YA anymore. But that Kay wants this to be accepted as a sophisticated supernatural story of timeless love and its consequences when it's more of a lost prince story. Harry Potter and King Arthur, abused kids finding they're the chosen one, which is a primary adolescent yearning. I am special, just no one has realized it yet. Now, the found prince here is Ned Mariner, the neglected son of world-famous photographer Edward Mariner, who is in France shooting pictures for a planned coffee table book based on the travel writings of some guy named Oliver, who shows up occasionally. Now, Ned is not really neglected, not at all. His father drags him on his around-the-world shoots and includes him on the crew and asks his opinion about shots and lighting and actually defers to him, so no. Pretty good relationship, as evidenced, but neglect is part of the found prince trope. So the evidence for it is that Ned had to leave his high school doper friends behind in order to spend the summer in aix-au-provence, however the heck you say it, helping his dad frame and shoot a cathedral. The abuse. If only I had been so neglected. So where's Mom? Well, she's part of Doctors Without Borders and is in the Sudan treating war victims. Yep, completely neglected and deprived, this Ned certainly is. So while wandering around the cathedral, Ned runs into Kate Winger, who is an American exchange student spending the summer in aix, however you say it. And what? Isn't school over? At least for the summer? Doesn't matter, it's France. This begins probably the most platonic, chaste, and unrequited love story in all of YA literature, which really gotta hand it to Kay for resisting the trend. It's kind of nice to have a girlfriend who's more of a friend than anything, at least when you're 15. Now, everything changes at 16, of course, and they'd probably be going at each other like rabbits, but that's a year off. While walking around, Ned discovers a sculpture or a drawing on a column or something of a beautiful woman who captivates him more than Kate does, although the figure is vague and barely discernible. But Ned senses it. And then he senses the mysterious man on the roof, and then the things under the chapel. There's a whole lot of sudden sensing of the ghosts and gods and monsters running around the area. It's like the X-Men, when a kid reaches puberty, his mutant powers manifest. Ned's is the sensing and participation in the spirit world, or the Celtic afterlife, or whatever it is he's channeling. It's filled with druids and horned gods and long dead warriors, so I put my money on the Celtic one. But it also has a long dead Roman general and wolf spirits, and, well, it's really a dangerous place, whatever it is. especially when the title character, Isabel, shows up, finally, in the middle of the book. Isabel is Lilith, from Frasier or the Adamic legend you choose, because she is a beautiful woman, just unearthly in her beauty, who has enchanted the hearts of the Roman and a Celt warrior and makes them resurrect every few hundred years and fight each other for the privilege of sleeping with her until the next resurrection comes around. Marius is the Roman, and he slaughtered hundreds of thousands of Celts, including the Celt warrior, whose name is Cadell, and they fight each other and they switch out. One kills one on one iteration, and the other kills the other, on and on. Why is this happening? Who knows? Nothing is really explained. You're welcome to draw your own conclusions from the dearth of reference and clues provided. Isabel has to possess and absorb a young woman during Beltane in order to manifest herself and get Marius and Cadell at each other's throats. And wouldn't you know it, it's Beltane! And there's Kate! Oh no! What happens? Not what you think, but, nice try. A whole bunch of inexplicable things rear up here and there, such as Ned's mysterious aunt who sensed that he was in trouble and shows up out of the blue after 20 years' absence, and Ned's doctor mom who knew about all this sensing stuff but never briefed her son on what was going to happen to him one day, and murderous druid ghosts and prophetic pigs who will betray you if they get the chance. I tell you, this is an egg laid by an author that I admire and like and read at every opportunity, which is fine. Not everything is going to be a gold medal winner. Let's just hope that this doesn't mark the beginning of Stephen King syndrome. Now, the next one, translation state. And in this one, the latest Anne Leckie, we are still in the Ratch universe, but this time it's the Presger who get all the attention. The Presger are the most terrifying of the alien races, a powerful and seemingly invincible empire that delights in stopping human ships and taking humans apart to see what makes them work, and then leaving their handiwork scattered about the ship's corridors for the next rat ship to stumble across. The Presger eat each other as well as us, and really anything that moves. Presger children grow through several stages, from the tiny levels to middle to edge to adults. The juveniles so dangerous that they're kept separate from adults until they learn not to eat each other. A group of Presger adolescents will be playing together when one of them shows weakness and the others decide to see what's inside. This is considered fun and games, so you can imagine with how much sport they view us. Now, Presger translators are a special group of Presger who've been designated to serve as liaison with humans. For some inexplicable reason, the Presger decided to sign a treaty with the Ratch, promising to stop eating humans in exchange for trade. I guess we make decent enough videos that they're willing to forego human flank steak for a chance at them. One called Pirate Exiles of the Death Moons is particularly favored. The Presger have incorporated all they've learned about human anatomy, which is quite a bit, into their translators who, upon becoming an adult, have to merge with another adult in a particularly icky manner to form a dual being. Otherwise, they die by melting. Quite a group, them Presger. Now, an innate after, and I'm just going to call her Aster because it's just easier, is a sad sack human who has spent the last 60 years of her life caring for probably the worst grandmother in human history, only to find out on her granny's death that she's been disinherited. The new matriarch, though, feels sorry for her and sends her out on a mission she's not expected to actually succeed in, finding somebody who disappeared 200 years prior. Inez is to take her time, fill out some vouchers, travel around, get lost, kid. But to her and everyone's surprise, she finds traces of this disappeared person. In fact, she finds his offspring, a Hitchcockian machinist named Reet, who fortuitously enough has been assigned as her reminder when she shows up in the Fen space. Well, turns out a Hitchcockian liberation movement has determined that Reet is actually a Shan, which is the ruling class of the Hitchcockian, destroyed in a Fen attack on Love-Hate Station hundreds of years ago, and they want to use him to relaunch the war. So Ane does genetic tests on Reet and discover he's not a Shan, he's actually a Presker translator. You following all this? Well, I'll tell you, at this point, this is where the fun begins. A Ratch ambassador to the Preskers seizes Reet and takes him to the Presker, which means he'll probably have to meld with Quinn, or Kevin is how it's spelled, but I say it Quinn, a sad sack Presker juvenile whose prospects are somewhat diminished when one of his teachers tried to eat him, bringing shame on his clan. Quinn doesn't want to meld. He wants to escape like Reet's ancestor did 200 years before. Reet doesn't want to meld either. He wants to stay with the human family who raised him, even though he has an urge to eat a human from time to time. To resolve this, lawyers call a conclave with the Presker in which Reet and Quinn are given the chance to declare themselves human, but then the treaty with the Presker will probably be voided and then they can go back to eating people. And the Ratch don't want that because an ancillary has also shown up demanding the same privilege of autonomy. And then the Hitchcockian attack and everyone is transported to an alternate dimension. Whoo! I'll tell you, this is all pretty mind-blowing. And never will you be more fascinated by a committee meeting where humans and aliens and synthetic humans and mechs sit around discussing nuances of treaty obligations. It's just compelling. 3 words that have never been used to discuss any meeting anywhere in history. Leckie just throws everything at you, including the sudden reappearance of the ancillaries we have all come to love. That showed up in their opening trilogy. Now I'll tell you, this is a much better novel than the previous title, Provenance, which I have reviewed here, which in my opinion was much ado about nothing. Here, Leckie is right back on track, and boy, do you really despise the Ratch. As does everyone. Now, I've noticed on some reviews that everybody makes a big deal out of Leckie's foregoing of pronouns and inventing of new ones, but that's just style. It's easy to follow. In fact, if you've read the original trilogy, you already know about it, and actually becomes a rather amusing point of contention with Quinn. It's not some bold and heroic declaration of a woke principle. It's just the way language works thousands of years in the future. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy. Old guy here. See you later. And now that this is Christmas week, I have a gift for you guys. If you go to Smashwords, go here, you can download my Ship trilogy, which is about the only thing I've written that even has close to a Christmas theme, for free until January 1st. So hurry.